Hello, hi my friends, and welcome back. It is I, your favorite indie author, Carissa McIntyre, Lady Mac XO, and soon to be other things, because today we are here for some education, some adult education, because I am also your favorite adult educator and storyteller of the adult kind. Not that this is a story time or about books. This is really education. Something I haven't done for a really long time. And, but to be fair, this is something I've also wrote. Like I put a script together for this. I put a lot of effort into making an educational video, and I'm also going to turn it into a blog because I did not spend a few days writing this and putting all this together for nothing. So you will also be able to find an entire blog here, as well as some other education and some other things. Because some of the things I will have to share with you today will be a little censored, despite the fact that this is an educational video. And it is something I wrote, and a story came from this too, because, my smart little inappropriate filled brain is very creative. So all this long-winded intro is to say that today I'm going to be talking to you about the Rose toy. And I'm going to be educating you on the Rose toy, which is not a code for like this is story time or entertainment or anything. I'm not trying to pull a fast one. I actually would like to put an educational video together for you. And if you don't know me well enough to know, this is not like a new thing or just like something I'm just like throwing out there. For a really long time, a adult education of that sorts was a really big thing for me. I did educational videos. I sold products for a really long time for a women's company. It was called Passion Parties, if you guys knew or remember that. But that, for me, it wasn't really like having like fun little girl parties and like whatever. It really was a place where I became like a safe space to educate a lot of people, where it wasn't like shameful or taboo to talk about these things. And it turned out to be a place where I would share a lot about what the different things would do. Trying to say what I want to say, saying it nicely, especially in the first few minutes of the video. You know, a lot of people don't know how their bodies work, or, you know, how that how they can achieve certain things with them. I ran a boutique for a while. I used to go live on various social media platforms and talk about like education, although Facebook really shut that down for a while, which is why I don't do that on there anymore. And, anyway, all that's to say is that like education and knowledge about toys and different aspects of that nature are not new for me, and educating and being a safe space to share that without any shame or it being taboo is also not new for me. It's just new on different platforms and in the ways that I do it. So, okay. I went into this long spiel just so if anybody's new here, you know that I do have a little bit of background in, this isn't like I wrote a story and maybe I'll just tell you a little bit just because or whatever. I felt like I needed to share some of the background. Some of you have been here a really long time and you're like, Carissa, I'm well aware that you used to sell those things. Just tell me about the Rose toy. Okay. So, hi, welcome, have a seat, get ready. Let me educate you. Let me tell you. Let me share with you about the Rose toy, about how it can, or more about air pulse technology in general, and about how you can enjoy it in many, many, many ways, male and female, and about what I plan to share around that going forward. I'm not sure how long now, because I did take a week hiatus for my birthday, but somewhere within the last 2 weeks, I shared a video of myself rereading a story I had wrote a long time ago about the Satisfier, which is a similar version of the Rose toy and is air pulse technology. I really appreciate you guys watching that. It's not monetized. I don't make anything from it. It was really hard to put it out in a way that was censored appropriately, but I really felt like it was important to redo that. I wrote something and I went on like a big rant over here about like, not a rant, but I rambled a lot. Long story short, I would love to do things like this in more things like this. So if you can just bear with the censorship as I kind of like put things together and see what I can and can't say, that would mean a lot to me. The reason I wrote that story a long time ago was actually because I was selling my erotic books through a local adult store that sadly no longer exists. And that kind of snowballed into me writing short stories, creative adult stories about some of the toys that they carried in a way that we could collab. I would write a story around a very specific toy, and it would be a fun and spicy story with the emphasis around like them going to a store, adult store, picking this up, learning about how to use it, going home, and like educationally using it, right? The store would share this on social media, and they would share my like a little erotic story, and I would have a code, and if people, used it, it was fun, Okay, so hint, hint. I'll just kind of put this in from before, like Bad Dragon or any other like adult companies. You want to sponsor me? That would be fantastic. I will write you really amazing, creative and fun stories about how people can use your toy and, and educational, and we can collab and it'll be lots of fun. Okay, anyway, I loved it, and the videos did really well because they really had that emphasis on education as well as like fun time. And the reason I've been redoing them is because my channel is very old. I started this channel like 3+ years ago, and I really didn't know what I was going to do with it. And there were times when I only uploaded a couple times a year. I still don't have a lot of like knowledge as far as like vlogging and video content, but I have the camera positioned in the right way now. It's not the long way. And I do try to be aware of what I'm talking about on camera. I edit things out that don't need to be there. I'm getting better is where I'm going with this. So I realized some of my videos from the past could probably be redone, and the Satisfier and the Pulse technology was one that I wanted to redo. So that's the one that went up the other week. But that kind of, all this long-winded thing is to say it really re-sparked that educational purpose that I used to share and the knowledge that I have and the way I could combine them all. So I sat down here and wrote out the script for this educational video, which I'm obviously I'm going to put a disclaimer in the beginning. If you want to know how the toy works, please skip 10 minutes in. But listen, it's been a long time since I really like put pen to paper in like a vlog style and thought very thoroughly about the background that I wanted to share, who I am and why I'm going into this, and why I felt it was important to redo some of these videos and all of that. So anyway, I'm kind of done rambling now. That is my backstory. Listen, y'all knew what you were signing up for when you came here, okay? Or not. Hi, welcome. Sit down, have a seat, buckle up. You're in for a treat. So, the Rose toy and Air Pulse technology. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I feel like a year ago or maybe a year and a half ago, a viral review for the Rose toy went viral. And if you haven't seen it, I'm going to just kind of clip a little screenshot of it right here. So that you know what we're working with. It's basically about a woman who did not know what she was getting into when she got a Rose toy. And wow, did she ever have her world rocked. So it's not the first of its kind. Obviously, I wrote a story of this. The Satisfier toy that I had promoted was on my channel before the viral Rose toy. So Air Pulse technology isn't new. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was funny and informative that the meme went really viral, maybe it was because a lot of people didn't know anything about that kind of a toy. Maybe they, I don't really know the logistics of why it went as viral as it did, but it did. And it had a lot of people questioning, like, there's no way a toy could be as great as y'all say it is if it doesn't go in and it doesn't touch you. I think that's what stumped a lot of people. They were like, it uses air, right? But it does affect you, just the way those the reviews speak for themselves. In my experience, when I talk to women one-on-one, when I have that safe space to connect with them, as I said, it does become a lot about education more than give me a discount, Many women don't know their own body. They have been shamed into thinking that masturbation is not okay. They have not explored themselves or experienced all the things that they can enjoy. Many times men do not know our bodies because we do not know our bodies. And we have been shamed or too self-conscious or not comfortable or wasn't safe to say certain things were okay or not okay or we didn't like them. There's like a whole list. I'm trying to go into this delicately because I know there's going to be people here who, everybody's experience is different. But on a whole, a lot of women grew up in households where it was just too conservative, or they had a period of relationships that were not okay in whatever capacity for them to be like, hey, it doesn't feel right. And that goes for men too. I'm not trying to say this as delicately as possible. Now that we're all adults, it is time to use our voice and use our bodies in all the ways that they were intended. It is time to learn and to enjoy and to receive pleasure and to give pleasure in all of the ways that we are intended. A lot of toys do different things and provide different sensations to different areas. And that's why I want to center on the Rose toy and the AirPulse technology today. I want to talk specifically about what the AirPulse does and how to use it in different ways. I had a joke in here, like, once you go air, nothing compares. Then I was like, not only is that a terrible joke, but I also want to put the emphasis on, if you do use one of these or you have one and you're like so in love with it that nothing else compares, put it away. Okay? Pleasure should be found in a multitude of ways. And if you become too accustomed to a specific toy or a specific motion or the way a specific wave rides out, you will find it very difficult to ride any other waves. I feel like the way I stumble over stuff, people are like, this is so unprofessional, and do you know what you're talking about? I have to be very censored. I can't just say certain things. And I also know that in the past, I have had a influx of comments. If I say one thing, there's always going to be somebody who's like, well, that's not my experience. And I want to be open to that and say that I'm generalizing and give safe space for people who may not agree or have a different experience. I know that the topic of sexual pleasure can be very triggering for a lot of people. Maybe you've had trauma in the past. Maybe you haven't experienced it. Maybe you don't think you can. I just feel like I need to point out the fact that I stumble over some things because I'm trying to find the right way to say them that won't get me banned, and also to be respectful of people who are outside of the zones that I am speaking in. I'm just trying to be very generalized. And at the end of when I talk about I'm getting right into the AirPulse technology right now. A lot of this is going to be about women, but also just know that I have a whole section for men as well. So AirPulse technology and these AirPulse toys, the Rose toy or the Satisfyer or any other one, generally have think of it like a hole at the end, okay? It goes around something. It doesn't go in, and it doesn't grab or squeeze or anything. It is a pretty, I didn't bring one on screen because I don't want to get in trouble. So here's a lotion bottle, okay? Think of it, this is massive, this is way too big. But think of it like the end of this, okay? It's just, that's it. This is not mobile. It doesn't get smaller or bigger or anything, okay? And it goes over and it creates like a suction tunnel. And it uses air sensation and air pulsing in there to create the feeling of contact without contact. Because it feels like little tongues and little mouths and little everything that knows exactly what it's doing, but it's not actually touching. And so for the reason for this is because the C word, the CL word, has 10,000 nerve endings in the tip of it alone, okay? For comparison, your fingertip or your toe has like 3,000. And like, it's pretty sensitive. You can use your fingertip to run over stuff. You can feel that. Like, that's very sensitive. You stub your toe, death, right? So we are talking about like triple the amount of nerve endings. So that's to say it can be overstimulated very quickly. Some women, cool, but others struggle with direct contact and overstimulation. This allows for intense stimulation without the overstimulation, if that makes sense. Most women do need clitoral contact in order to orgasm. Not all. And again, I'm going to stumble over this a little bit. Some is because they just don't know how. Some is because they haven't explored. Some is because they're not relaxed or past trauma. Some cannot. Some cannot. Some just, we're not going to go into the logistics of all the different types of O's and how to achieve them. I'm just simply stating a lot of women need clitoral stimulation. And so this is a perfect way to give them that without, or for a woman to give themselves that without being overstimulated or one and done. Because that overstimulation for a lot of people will be like, okay, I need a cool down time. And women can multi-O, fun fact. And it's a lot easier when you're not so overly stimulated from the first one. So. It's targeted to bring in that sensation, heightened arousal very quickly because of the way it is targeted around that. So a lot of women find that they can reach that very quickly with a Rose or Air Pulse toy that they were not reaching with direct contact as well. Which is another reason why I think kind of it like blew up, because a lot of people were like, oh, I don't know. And then they tried it and they were like, give me more. So I would definitely recommend looking at the different types. They are shaped differently. They're styled differently. Again, they don't go in, but some people prefer to hold them down and then this point like is upwards, and some prefer to hold it like this, so that it's angled downwards. And the size and the level of vibration and the sound vary from model to model. Sometimes you need it to be extremely quiet and extremely discreet. And there are some that I would recommend for that. If you don't care about the noise, then there's also bigger and louder models for that. I would always recommend rechargeable and waterproof. They're going to last you a lot longer. You are not going to go through the batteries as much. And the reason why I say waterproof is because, or water resistant, is because it just gives you that safe feeling of no matter what amount of lube, no matter the aftermath, no matter where you are, you're clean everything very well. you kind of have that like safety of like wet is fine. Okay. Because you should always be using wetness. Use lube all the time. Okay. All right. 20 minutes in, man, I haven't forgotten about you. It's suction, guys. It's air pulse technology. It is air simulation. So you can literally use it anywhere that suction or air pulsing or stimulation would feel good. Upper area, sensitive areas, the shaft, the head, ball sacks, along your outer and inner lips. You can get creative. If you have a sensitive spot that likes to be licked, kissed, nibbled, sucked on in a gentle way, then I would definitely recommend experimenting with the air toy, using it outside of the box and seeing what happens. I did speak about the angles. And I did speak about why I think that, I'm just checking over my notes here. I did mention why I think it went so viral. I think it was just because it was such a new technology that a lot of people didn't know about, a lot of people weren't sure about, and then once they tried it, they were like, because a lot of women, it was an entirely new way for them to reach pleasure. So, all this is to say, I hope you found something helpful in this. It's been a long time since I've done an educational video, especially monetized. So maybe there was stuff I could have said differently because it's an educational video. Part of me just feels like I'm going to be flagged for this, even though this is not entertainment and I truly just would like to educate people. But yeah, we're going to see how it does. If it does well, if it doesn't get flagged, if I don't get in trouble, you can expect a ton more. I was also really inspired by writing this and rereading over the last one that I came up with a news story. And it will be the next video, I believe, that goes up. However, I don't think I can read it because it's a lot. But I'm going to give you guys a fun overview of it, and it will be an entirely free story. You don't even need to sign up for my mail list for that. You'll be able to find it right here. And it will just be there. It will just be there. You can read along. Well, you can read it. You won't really be able to read along because, like I said, I'm going to have to just give a sexy overview of it for entertainment purposes because I can't censor that. It's intense. So my creativity is really high. I have so much stuff going on in the background. I am writing a huge exam tomorrow as the day I record this. I don't know when this is going to go up, but by the time it goes up, I will have already wrote my exam. So new business is in the works. A lot of stuff is in the flow. Really following my intuition, really following that spark I've been called to. Really, really, really excited for what the future is going to hold. I'm sorry, I don't think I looked at the camera a whole lot. This setup is weird. I really need to invest in some better recording equipment. You guys don't want to know what I have going on here, like a handful of books stacked on a handful of books with some massage and naturopathy stuff behind it that the flashcards that I can hold everything together. Whatever. It works. If it works, it works, right? I'm always doing my best. Okay, I'm out of here. I have to go study. So wish me luck for tomorrow. I hope everything goes amazing. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you took something from this. If I left something out you felt like I should have added, please let me know. Again, I have a full version of this educational blog without all the long-winded ramblings that I did, but a lot more, less censored of certain things you can find here. Let me know if you do use air pulse technology. Do you have a brand that you love and do you have a brand that you hate? I didn't get into any I thought about naming some specific ones and then I was like, I'm not sponsored and I don't know the legalities of like sharing different things in this capacity. I don't know. Maybe it was fine. But I don't know. I'm just going to leave that for now. If you want specific brands that you would like me to recommend, you can reach out in the comments below and I will maybe post some links. Just not sure how to go about doing that. yeah, that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Much love. Your favorite indie author and adult educator and storyteller, maybe, Lady Mac XO, Carissa McIntyre. We'll see you soon. Stay kinky, my friends, and keep reading.